everyone, my name is Chloe and welcome to another vlog. So I was deciding what did I want to read and what did I want to vlog about, and I decided to vlog about LibroFM. So if you guys don't know what LibroFM is, it is basically like Audible. It's a subscription service where you pay a certain amount, I think $14 or $15 every month, and you get to own an audiobook of your choice. And the difference between Audible and LibroFM is that LibroFM gives a portion of the proceeds to the bookstore of your choice, like the local independent bookstore of your choice. And so if there's not one local to you, you can pick any around the whole country for sure, if not world. And it's just awesome. I love LibroFM. They have a huge selection and they're just awesome. I love it. I love it. And as we get closer to Christmas, I thought this would be a good vlog because if you are looking for something to give somebody in your life, you can do a LibroFM subscription for Christmas, and I think that would, like, for me, I would love that. So my link will always is always down below. I think I maybe get a free credit or something if you use it, but it doesn't matter either way. I just think it's a great service. So going into this video, I'm not sure exactly how many books I have on LibroFM unlistened to, but it's a few. And so I decided, let's read a few and see kind of how we feel about them. So the first one I read already was Have I Told You This Already by Lauren Graham. And like that phrase, I feel like it's something that like all extroverts can relate to, because I say that so much. The people I talk to frequently, I'm like, I don't know if I've already told you this, but, and then blah, 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 because I just like to talk. I like to tell stories. I like to talk to the people that I talk to a lot. So, this is very similar to her other memoirs. She reads it, and so it's great for that. And this one is mostly about just like her acting career in general, and like how she moved from New York to LA, and kind of how she like finds her place in Hollywood. And so it wasn't the most interesting subject matter to me. It doesn't touch a ton on Gilmore Girls. But I was still thoroughly entertained throughout. So I really enjoyed it. It was exactly what I expected, probably about 3.5 star. If you like Lauren Graham, check it out. If you don't, this is not going to sell you on her, but it was still conversational, funny, and kind of relatable. So now I'm reading Book Lovers by Emily Henry. So I feel like you are either a beach read lover or a people you meet on vacation lover. I don't find people, like, in general, I think we can all agree she is a really good like rom-com writer. So you generally just like one or the other better. So I really like People We Meet on Vacation better than beach read, but I'm enjoying Book Lovers a lot too. Gosh, I feel like these titles are all crazy, but this is about two bookish people who are, it's kind of an enemies to lovers, which is, I don't like that trope, but I feel like this is doing it really well, and it's cute, it's fun. I did take like a day or day and a half, maybe 2 days off of reading it because I was reading something else and trying to get it done, and I feel like taking that break and then coming back, I'm like having a hard time kind of getting into the magic of it again and like the chemistry of the relationship, but there is definitely chemistry in the relationship. Our main female character has a good relationship with her sister that is explored a lot, and so I'm really liking it, and I will update soon. Hey everyone, so yesterday was a big day for this vlog. So I finished Book Lovers by Emily Henry, and so our female protagonist, she is, golly, I already forget her name, but she is a literary agent, I think, and then he is an editor, and they like had a run-in at one point 2 years ago or something where she proposed one of her clients' books to him, and he was like, no, that's terrible. And so they had like kind of an enemy start, not really enemies, but just kind of adversarial. And then they run back into each other later in a small town, and it's really cute. So they have a lot of banter with each other. And I really liked, like, I don't love enemies to lovers. I don't love that. And this was not like full-fledged enemies because they just had that one encounter that was kind of negative. And so they're more just like bantery than full-on negative, or like enemies. But I didn't love, like, I don't know, I just don't love that dynamic, but I liked how, like, the, both of them, but specifically him, became vulnerable, like, bit by bit, and it was in funny ways that weren't, like, hey reader, now you're supposed to cry. It was like, oh my goodness, like he's talking about his childhood race car bed. And it's just cute, just cute. And so I think she does really good rom-coms. They are steamier than I like. I don't remember that in People We Meet on Vacation, but maybe, I'm sure it was there. And this one got like a little bit like slow or like kind of redundant at parts for me. And so it's probably 3.5 stars. I really liked her and her sister are at like on vacation in this small town together, and the sister dynamic, they lost their mom. She was a single mom, then they lost their mom when our main character was like 20, and then the sister was 16 or something like that. And so there's kind of a caretaker relationship, but our main character I found super relatable. She is very type A. She is known as like the shark. And I'm not. I mean, I'm a kindergarten teacher, you guys, but I'm not a shark. But she's very heartless, like very, again, not, I mean, I don't mean this as relatable, but she's just very driven, very, very focused on work and on getting what she needs to get done, and like to the point that she's not able to like experience life and let life in because she's so focused on taking care of people and doing things to be successful, but more so just to like make sure that her sister is taken care of and make sure that she is like stable for anybody who needs her to be stable. She has made career decisions, all of that, for her family. And dating, she doesn't really date. And I mean, she does date, but they're not the right guys. So it's a cute romance. I liked it. It's not my favorite. I'd probably give it 3.5 stars. So I think Emily Henry, I feel like People We Meet on Vacation was kind of a standout for me of right book, right time. And just kind of like, I love the friends to lovers trope. So that was probably the best that she's going to do with me, just because I'm not really in a romance phase right now. And those were like my favorite tropes. But I think she's like unarguably a really good rom-com writer. So there's that. But then I was thinking, so this is a LibroFM vlog. I think I started with like 60 something books unlistened to on LibroFM. And the one once I wanted to talk to you guys about mostly, or like the reason that I love LibroFM is for the nonfiction, really, honestly. Memoirs that are written by the people themselves are great. So I listened to Lauren Graham's book first, and then last night, while I was just pumping and doing stuff in the middle of the night, I listened to And Yet, poems by Kate Baer. And like poetry is another thing that I don't really love reading poetry. I've got something like from school or something that we had to do it and I didn't like it or something. I don't know. I've got something against poetry, reading it physically, but listening to it, I listened to some Amanda Gorman poetry, and just listening to an author read, I think she reads her own, but listening to her read her own poetry with the pauses as it's supposed to be and just the natural cadence as she intended it was really powerful for me. And this one is, I'm not sure if it says, it's all about like motherhood, and it doesn't say. Let's see. I don't know. But it's about motherhood and womanhood and things that I found really relatable. So this like kind of concept of poetry that is not easy for me to wrap my mind around is made really relatable by listening to somebody read their own poetry. So if you are interested at all, I would definitely suggest, like, it doesn't have to be LibroFM, but check out audiobooks for poetry, because I really enjoy it that way when I don't any other way. So then that was like, I kind of feel like it was less than an hour. I don't know if it was, but I finished it in sometime in the middle of the night and started it. So whatever. So then I started The Stories We Tell by Joanna Gaines. And I didn't know she had written a book, but she reads it, and it's interesting. I'm very interested in Chip and Joanna Gaines. Like when the craze first started, we were all about it. And when the craze first started, I don't think we were married yet. And for our first house, we did a lot of DIY. So my husband, his brother is a contractor. He's a farm kid, which, like, if you guys don't know, farm kids know how to do everything, or at least think they do. And so we did a lot of DIY. And so we were really into like renovation shows like Chip and Joanna Gaines, Fixer Upper, and that kind of stuff. I still love them, but I feel like we almost like I almost burned out on them. And a lot of our DIY projects did not go well because, just a lot of life happened. We both were working full-time jobs. Like, it just, whatever. That's a different conversation. But, so I loved her and was very intrigued by her. And now it's just gotten so far expanded that, like, I feel like, I don't know. I just am not, like, they've become more personalities than actual people to me. And I don't know. I mean, that just may be me. But I still like them, and I'm still intrigued because I don't really have strong opinions either way now. But whatever. This book, she says in it, like, this is not a memoir. This is not like a self-help or something. I can't remember the exact words she uses, but she's like, I'm not old enough or wise enough for that, and I haven't lived enough life for that. And yet it is completely self-helpy. So she is talking about the stories we tell ourselves, and like the stories that fear puts in our minds, and just the story, like the narratives that we continue to tell ourselves that can leave us trapped or leave us closed off to people, or all of those kind of things. And she has found a lot of strength and like clarity through journaling, like physically writing things down and getting her thoughts out on paper. And I know like every therapist in the world will recommend that you do that. I loathe that, but I also struggle with anxiety. So my brain is going so much faster than my hand ever could that it frustrates me, and like it gets me stunted, and it gets me like in my head even more. And so this is definitely like, I'm maybe halfway through it, and this is definitely like pushing journaling really, really, really hard. But I think it'll all come around to be like a point that makes sense, because I do think she's very relatable. They have 5 kids now. They had 4, like kind of back to back to back, kind of like my kids are all about 2 years apart, and their first 4 were pretty close like that. And then 8 years later, they had a surprise baby just recently. And I mean, he's like 4 now. So, she talks a lot about like being a fixer and trying to fix her kids' problems and not just like sitting with them in the suck. There are times, especially as your kids get older, and even with friends and stuff, like, 'cause my kids aren't there yet, but like I've noticed it with friends that like they don't necessarily want somebody to fix the problem. They just want you to sit with them and say, gosh, that is hard. That stinks. I'm here with you, and my natural tendency, her natural tendency is to jump in and say, okay, how can I fix this? Like, let's do all these things to fix this. And so she's noticed like some repercussions of that on her relationships. And I thought that was really helpful. And she's also just a very like driven by productivity and by just go, 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 which is also very much how I am. And again, to the point of like, stop and smell the roses. Like, make sure you are present in your moment and not just focused on all the things that you want to do, need to do, can do, all of that. So I'm taking bits and pieces from it. I'm relating to it, but like the journaling element, I feel like there's more than one way to do that. So we'll see. I'll let you know my final thoughts when I finish it. This has been a long enough clip, so we'll see you after I finish it. Hey everyone, as you can see, it snowed here last night, and my 4-year-old woke up just like, God heard my prayers, he'd snow. Everyone else in the house was like, oh no, it's snow. So yeah, that's what we're doing. Now we're all bundled up. My big girls have dance today. Edda's got her things going on. There's just a lot going on today. So I wanted to get on and let you know, I think I have updated about Joanna Gaines' book, but if I didn't, I'm just going to say that I think it was really good. And like, the more I think about it, the more I enjoyed it, because I think there was a lot that was really good in just specifically to me. Like, I could really relate to a lot of it, as far as like the fast pace, productivity, all that kind of stuff. It just felt a little bit generic. Yeah, just a little bit generic. But anyway, and then I read the poetry book. I'm almost positive I've updated about these, but I'll do another clip after this if I didn't, I guess. But then I read Bookish People by Susan Cole, maybe. I'll have a picture up so you'll be able to see. But this one, I'm like, cool, a book about bookish people, sign me up. I'm all about that. And it was bad, you guys. It's got like a 2.4 something rating on Goodreads, so I should have known. But it was not good. This was about, basically, you've got Sophie, I think. She's the owner of a bookstore. She's just recently widowed. She's an older lady. Her son is grown, whatever. Then we've got Clemmy, I think, is the name of a young girl who works in the store, and she's looking for her dad, kind of. And then we've got, I can't remember his name, but he's an author who has been sort of accused of killing his wife. His wife died by accidentally putting her head in the oven, and somehow he's not, I don't know, people suspect him. So he's getting canceled pretty big. So it's their three perspectives, but like nothing really happens in this book, and we spend a lot of time talking about different vacuums and like other things that are just rabbit holes that I'm like, what are we talking about? I don't understand. This is not good. This is not relevant to the story. Yuck. So I'm giving that like 2.5 stars. Not good. But it was bookish. I mean, kind of. So there's that. But then finally, I'm just finished Speak by Tunde. And I might have said her name wrong in the last clip. But it's Tunde, and I knew I would love this, and I did. I listened to it all last night because it was a night, you guys, with the snow, I guess. I don't know. My 2-year-old was up a lot. My 4-year-old was up a lot. My baby was up a lot. Gosh, I yawned. I had to pause because I yawned just talking about last night. And like now that you say yawn, it makes me yawn. It's addicting. But anyway, so I listened to all of this last night, Speak by Tunde, and I loved it. I loved it. She talks about her body image issues. Her family is African, and in their culture, bigger is not bad. It is almost better. And I mean, she started getting commentary on her weight when she was a young child, and started to notice just differences between her. And then she grew up actually in Wichita, Kansas, which is not far from, well, it is far. I'm in Kansas City, Kansas, but it's the other big city, I guess, in Kansas. And here in the middle of the country, we are not the most progressive, like, as a culture. The Midwest, middle of Kansas country is not the most cultured, and it's really disappointing. And she grew up in a church where her family was the only black family. In school, she was talked about a lot because she is a dark black woman, or girl at the time, I guess, and she just really was teased for her size, for her color of her skin, for a lot of things. And she learned to overcome that in a way that is just so inspiring, and just like to speak your truth and to know who you are. And it was just so inspiring. And then like her journey into Peloton, and she's also a makeup artist, and like just her she didn't want to wear red lipstick at first because she didn't want to be like noticed out there. She wanted to kind of fit in. She wears red lipstick constantly now, and I love that, like especially knowing how significant it is for her. She also, like, if you watch or take her early classes, she's got like long hair, and she got rid of all of that, and it is just authentically her and unafraid of anything. And she talks a lot too about the disclaimer of like, she's really pretty for a black lady, or she's really pretty for this, that, or the other. And she also talks about like how she has been really insecure about her arms and all of that kind of stuff because they're so big. And it's crazy because everybody else wants Tunde arms. Like, they're so awesome that like her arms are, that I'm taking the program Arms with Tunde, so because like she's just awesome. And so it just shows that like so much of how we feel about ourselves is because of culture and context, and it doesn't need to be. And like, don't let that stuff define you. And I feel like she has successfully done that, and so it's really inspiring. I would probably give this 5 stars. I think I mean, I don't see why not. There's like, it was a really well told story about her life. And so now I want like every Peloton instructor to write a memoir, but that's not the case. So that's everything I'm going to read for now on LibroFM, because I have a lot of other TBRs that are kind of staring at me. But LibroFM, I still highly, highly, highly recommend. And you can do the speed up to, gosh, maybe 3, maybe even higher. I don't know. I never go above like 2.5 speed. but I know like that is a definite downside of like audiobooks from NetGalley and Scribd on an iPhone. I think you can only go to 2 times, and so the player is just great. Like I love LibroFM. I love the way like the player is great. I love that you can like download them and then it really clearly marks what's finished and what's not. Like my Kindle, I feel like is a mess on what it's not accurate at all, but I feel like my LibroFM account is definitely accurate. And I love LibroFM, and I feel good spending money there knowing that it's going back to like my local bookstore. So that is everything. Check the link down below if you want to sign up, or just go sign up, whatever. Like I said, you get something, I get something, but don't feel any pressure. And that's it. So thank you so much for watching. Let me know if you've read any of these books. They're all relatively new releases. So let me know if you've read any or if you're interested now. And that's it. We'll see you in the next one. Thank you so much for watching.